You've likely seen Richard Heart sharing his lavish life with luxury cars and designer clothes all over social media, but that may all be about to stop, because the SEC has charged Richard Heart with illegally raising over $1 billion and defrauding investors out of $12.1 million. The case argues he did this to buy luxuries, including the world's largest black diamond. So, did the SEC get it right? Meet HEX by Stader Labs, a liquid staking token designed to keep Ethereum decentralized while being accessible, reliable, and rewarding. The SEC has been ruffling quite a few feathers in the digital asset space this year, so let's start by figuring out what Richard actually did. According to the filing, the HEX founder allegedly defrauded investors and spent the money on an Enigma diamond among other lavish items. They claimed that Hart touted his HEX token, the PulseX trading platform, and PulseChain asset network as pathways to grandiose wealth. On Monday, Richard and all three entities were charged with conducting unregistered crypto asset securities offerings. The wallets associated with Richard Heart are said to contain over $700 million in DAI stablecoins. The SEC also alleges that his personal wallet alone sent nearly $27 million through the sanctioned crypto mixer Tornado Cash. Richard, of course, defended himself by saying he knew his comments were tongue-in-cheek, and he's referring to disclaimers that his offerings were not securities, including his statements that HEX could deliver 38% annual returns and was built to be the highest appreciating asset that has ever existed in the history of man. Now, here's an interesting twist. About 6 months ago, Hart spoke about the SEC on a podcast.
Basically, they created a branch of the government called the Securities and Exchange Commission that tries to help people not get scammed. And I think they forget that that's what they're supposed to be doing. Like, that's the reason they exist, is to stop people from getting scammed. But then they get caught up in the intricacies of the laws, and then they don't think about whether they're really getting the job done. How many of these rug pull guys have been indicted? Not a single one that I'm aware of. And how many people have lost money to rug pulls? Oh God. Squid Game. It's worth $4.3 trillion. It went to zero. I do so much to try and protect people from getting scammed, and it saddens me to see them attacking people that aren't scamming.
And before we continue with the story, a quick word from Stader. Stader is a non-custodial multi-chain liquid staking platform for POS blockchains. With about $100 million in TVL, 50,000 wallets, and over 200,000 community members across 6 chains, Stader is now live on Ethereum with HEX. HEX is a liquid staking token designed to keep the Ethereum ecosystem decentralized by being accessible, reliable, and rewarding. The HEX smart contracts have been triple audited, prioritizing the utmost security of your assets. As part of the launch incentives, Stader has earmarked $1 million in rewards with 1.5x staking rewards and $800,000 in upcoming LP rewards. Power up your ETH with HEX. Stake now. Now back to our story. After some sarcastic remarks about shitcoins like the Squid Game token going to zero, Hart reminded the audience that he does so much to try and protect people from getting scammed. Apparently, spending $12 million of investors' funds on exorbitant luxury goods doesn't qualify as a scam in Richard Hart's universe. And speaking of the luxury items, Richard purchased a McLaren for over $500,000, a Ferrari for over $300,000, 4 Rolex watches for $3 million, and the 555-carat black Enigma diamond worth over $4.2 million at the time. For those interested in finding out more about Richard Heart and his life, there is a documentary coming out this week which has been in production since October 2021. And here's a little snippet of the trailer.
You're not going to meet another product like this as long as you live. Yes, every scammer in the world is going to tell you something similar.
Responses from the community have of course been mixed, with most users pointing to the lavish lifestyle and love of luxury items as all the evidence we need. Others dug up old blog and Reddit posts claiming Richard is a known scammer. Hexicans, on the other hand, are defending HEX and Richard Heart, claiming that HEX is not an unregistered security and that the space needs to encourage, not stifle, the spirit of innovation that drives it. So, is Richard Heart the John Gotti of crypto, as this tweet suggests? We'll let you make your minds up in the comments section below. Thank you for tuning in and stay defiant.